Hi, I'm Tiffany Schlain, and you're listening to the Book of Life podcast.
Tiffany Schlain is an independent filmmaker, and she joins us to talk about doing good through movies, about Character Day, and about her new Jewish film, The Making of a Mensch. It took about 6 tries before we managed to catch up with each other, and when we finally spoke, busy Tiffany was on her cell phone, hands-free, in her car. If you hear any traffic noises, that's why. Don't forget to check out our website at bookoflifepodcast.com for links to Tiffany's films. I'm your host, Heidi Estrin, and this is the Book of Life. Tiffany, we last spoke several years ago about your film The Tribe, which explores Jewish identity through the lens of the Barbie doll. And since then, you've really expanded your filmmaking. It's more participatory and geared towards social change. So can you start us off by talking about Let It Ripple? Explain what that is.
Yeah, so Let It Ripple was at first an experiment, and now it's a nonprofit. The full name is Let It Ripple, Mobile Films for Global Change. And it really came out of, I was making a feature documentary called Connected, and I was looking at the good, the bad, and the potential of all this connectivity. And one of the potentials in my mind was to make collaborative films with people from all over the world, people that have video capabilities on their cell phone. So the first film we experimented with this was called A Declaration of Interdependence, and we asked people to read lines from the script from all over, and it was a 4-minute film, and then we made free versions for nonprofits, and it just exceeded all of our hopes. We've made thousands of versions of this film, and it looks like it's the nonprofits movie because we put their logo at the end and their call to action. So that was the first one, and then I'm just finishing our 6th one, which is called The Making of a Mensch. So we call it cloud filmmaking. It's participatory. We invite the public to respond to questions we ask, and then we integrate that into a film. And yeah, it's been a really wonderful experience making these films with people from all over the world that I'll never meet. Last year we did our first cloud film premiere, where we had one of our cloud films, The Science of Character, and we decided to offer it for free to premiere all over the world. And there was over 1,500 screenings in, I think, over 40 countries. We had a Google Hangout with experts in character education, and we invited everyone on one day to talk about this. And we think there's a real power to focusing energy around a conversation. And this year, around something we called Character Day, we're going to offer The Science of Character, that 8-minute film, to educators all over the world. And we'll also have 2 new films. One's called The Adaptable Mind, and the other one's called The Making of a Mensch. So on September 18th, intentionally in the middle of the high holidays when we're thinking about our sense of character, we will be having this big global cloud film premiere and conversation, which we're really excited about. We have, I think it's the last I checked, it's like over 4,800 classrooms and schools and organizations all over the world are going to be hosting something. My goal with all of my films is always to start a conversation. So the film is an emotional and intellectual way into a deeper subject. So we did it last year, and it just went so well, we decided to expand it. And we have wonderful funders that make it all free for all the temples and JCCs. We have all the JCCs in North America involved, and Jewish camps. You can host a very big screening or a small screening, and you'll get a cool poster to put up, and you'll get conversation cards, and you're going to get a really robust website with just educational materials, and you can really have a special day delving into this conversation.
Okay, and can you describe the periodic table of character?
Yeah, so when we made the film The Science of Character, we looked at this research on how to develop who you are, and these wonderful psychologists, Peterson and Seligman, broke down 24 character strengths that are universal in all cultures, and they all lead to these virtues that lead to meaning and purpose. So we put it in a periodic table because it was a great way to organize it for us, and it's a really big part of the movie, the periodic table of character strengths. And that's what our poster is. And then when we decided to make The Making of a Mensch, which really came out of that premiere, a lot of Jewish educators saw that film and said, well, this is great, but why didn't you mention Musar? And I had never heard of Musar. And Musar is really like a Jewish version of the science of character. And so for the making of a Mensch, we made a making of a Mensch periodic table with, instead of character strength, they're midot. And it's a really cool poster that everyone gets for free who does the screening.
Okay, so how do you make a Mensch?
Oh, you'll have to see my movie. It's a 10-minute film, and it goes into some really exciting old ideas that are being brought back about how to be a good person and live your life with meaning and purpose. So you have to see the film.
Just the short version.
I mean, I think the short answer is to be constantly working on yourself, because being a Mensch isn't a fixed position that you become, and then you have to always be thinking about how to be a Mensch. Do the Menschy Thing.
That's a good answer. Okay, tell us about the second film that you're premiering on Character Day, The Adaptable Mind.
The Adaptable Mind looks at what are the skills in school and in life that can let you flourish in today's world. So we looked at all this research. There's all these different schools and thoughts with all these different terminology, and we distilled it down into 5 strengths, skills, qualities that we think people really need to focus on to prepare for today's world and do well. So that's also a 10-minute film, and we've been working on that one for like a year and a half, and really, I mean, literally today is the first time I looked at both of them, and they're almost done. It's really good.
Okay, could you talk about your concept of technology Shabbats?
Yeah, around 6 years ago, I just felt like life was happening way too quickly, and my husband and I, 2 kids, we celebrated Shabbat. We made a beautiful dinner, but that was kind of the extent of it. My father was really sick at the time, and it really made me think a lot about time and being present. So we decided to turn off every screen in the house. From Friday night to Saturday night, we call it our Tech Shabbat. And we're on our 6th year, and it's had an incredible impact on my family. It's been amazing. It's brought a sense of balance back to everyone in my family, and ultimately I feel a lot more productive because I spend a day completely not working and not looking at any cell phone or any screen of any sort, and it just brings me a lot of peace of mind.
Stephanie, thank you so much, and drive safe.
Thank you. Okay, thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
If you enjoy the Book of Life podcast, please become a patron at patreon.com/Book of Life. Leave a review on iTunes or a comment on our blog at bookoflifepodcast.com. You can also like our page at facebook.com/Book of Life podcast. Follow us at twitter.com/Book of Life pod. Email us at bookoflifepodcast@gmail.com or leave us a voicemail at 561-206-2473. The Book of Life is a podcast service of the Feldman Library at Congregation B'nai Israel in Boca Raton, Florida at cbiboca.org and is supported in part by the Association of Jewish Libraries at jewishlibraries.org. Our background music is provided by the Freilach Makers Klezmer String Band. Thanks for listening and happy reading.